Man, I really need to start recording in natural light some more. These videos just look so much better. For all the complaints that I see about strong female characters, why doesn't this movie get talked about more? What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Brothers Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my super late review for You're Next. Spoilers alert. So, You're Next has an interesting release history. It's originally a film that came out on the film festival circuit in 2011, and then it got picked up. It got distribution rights purchased by Lionsgate, and then got released in the United States in August of 2013. So technically this is an 8-year-old film, but we got to see it 6 years ago. You're Next is a slasher film about a family that starts getting murdered while they're at dinner. You can tell early on that the family is loaded. They're very well off. The parents of the family invite their kids and their spouses to a big family dinner at the house. And one by one, they start getting killed. Now, the movie originally starts out with one of their neighbors. You don't know it's their neighbor until later on. But it originally starts out with a guy having sex with some chick. It's probably a prostitute or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. She looks totally disinterested during the actual sex scene, or afterwards at least. It starts out with them. He jumps in the shower. She gets killed, he gets killed after her, and then we cut to the film, or we get started with the story of the film. And Erin is the main final girl in the film, and I forget the actress's name who plays her. Most of the actors and actresses in this cast are unknown to me. So Erin is there with her boyfriend Crispin, I believe. Crispin is the actual son of the family. Now, while they're at dinner, it kind of leads up to the big dinner. Like, it shows them like the day of, and then later on that night, the kids actually start coming home. The boyfriend of the daughter gets shot. Now, after that, all hell breaks loose. Basically, they start getting attacked. People start dying, and chaos ensues. This is a slasher film, but I think it has more thriller elements in it, and the film is really, really good. Like I said in the beginning, for all the arguments and the complaints that I see about not enough strong female heroes or strong female characters, this and that, in film and other media, why doesn't this film get talked about more? I discovered this film just randomly watching different top 10 lists. One of the things that it was spoken about was the fact that the main character, Erin, is so fucking epic. At least lately, I've been seeing complaints about this stuff, and I don't like to harp on that type of stuff. But this was a really, really interesting film, and you wonder what Erin's background is when we see her do the things that she does in the film. And so my exposure to this film, like I said, was across list, and there was the twist, I guess, got ruined from watching the list. But the execution is still there, and it's still really, really interesting, because I didn't remember the twist completely. I just knew that there was some type of weird stuff going on, and I knew that Erin had some type of particular talent. Early on, now this doesn't compromise like her being a loving girlfriend or spouse to her boyfriend. Very early on, they're doing couple shit. But once this starts happening, a switch goes off, and she starts, taking charge of the situation. You pick up a chair, run across the window, because basically all rooms in the house have windows. So it's really, really easy to basically snipe people. It's a crossbow that one of the offenders is using. When people get hurt, she's like, hey, apply pressure, do this, do that, all this other stuff. And then she even starts setting traps at one point. And then you come to find out, the first revelation in the movie is that one of the sons is in on it. There's an inheritance, and the sons are trying to, originally you think it's one son, but then it turns out that Erin's boyfriend, Crispin, is in on it as well. He leaves early on claiming to go run off and get help and doesn't come back until the end of the movie. But he's really just like off waiting for it to be over. And the other brother, we find out that he's the one who kind of orchestrated everything. And when he gets the inheritance, he's going to pay off the killers. They're going to split the money and be better off to solve whatever financial problems that they're having in the film. So that's the first twist. The second twist comes when Aaron is talking to Z, the boyfriend, the girlfriend of the brother who's behind it all. But Z is talking to Aaron and she's asking her, how do you know all this stuff? And Aaron breaks it down like, well, when I was younger, I grew up on a survivalist compound. My father got really, really paranoid and wanted me to be prepared. She's Australian. The survivalist compound, I believe, was in Australia. And then she ended up moving to the States with her mom when she was like 15. But she said, yeah, I was raised on a survivalist compound. That's why she does all the shit that she does in the film. And it's fucking amazing. She sets traps that are really, really clever. Now, the kills in general in this film are really, really great. Like, we get crossbow action, like I said. There's a really smart trap that's set when they start shooting out the windows. Or obviously they're shooting through the windows. So the family realizes, hey, we have to get outside, make a run for the car. Maybe one of us can make it. We can get in the car, go get help. Because their cell phone jammers are blocking the signal. And funnily enough, before I get to the really, really cool trap setup, the brother who's behind it all, he pointed out that they probably have cell phone jammers that you can get online for like $30. I thought that was weird when he brought that up. Who thinks to bring cell phone jammers? I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense. But when you see somebody point it out in a film, that comes off a little weird. So I should have known, knowing that somebody set this up, that it was him. But I misremembered it because I thought it was I thought it was more people in the family that set it up and they were trying to kill her for some reason. I misremembered the twist. But anyway, getting back to the cool trap. Because they're shooting into the windows, they have the family huddled up out of line of sight. So the daughter, the sons are arguing, oh, who's fastest? The daughter's like, look, I'll do it. I can do it. Open up the doors at the last second. I'll run through. So the father and the fuck-ass brother that set this all up, they're the ones manning the doors. So she starts maybe 10 feet away from the door to get a running start. Now, when she's running through it, they have the door cracked open just a tiny bit. And I thought she was going to get shot, because it was enough for if you were aiming at the door, you could shoot her before she even got crossed over the threshold. I don't really know if you can call it a subversion, but as she's running, and this is a really, really cool shot scene. It's in slow motion. And she's just like, you can tell like all hope is riding on her. She runs out not knowing, and they set this up, not knowing that there's a razor wire across the doorway. She doesn't get beheaded, but she gets her throat cut. And she hits that thing hard. She like bounces off of it almost. I'm surprised she actually didn't get decapitated, to be honest with you. I was expecting that because the way that she hit it hard. Immediately starts bleeding. They pull her back in. She dies in front of everybody. I thought that was really, really cool, and that was a really cool setup that you wouldn't really think people would do in a film like this. But it makes sense. If there are windows, you shoot through the windows, of course they're going to start avoiding them. Somebody has to attempt to jump out of a window or try to run out the door, right? Well, put a trap there. Now, Erin, on the other hand, when she tells Z about her upbringing and her interesting childhood, she's setting traps. Now she hammers some nails into a board. She puts one in front of the window. She also puts one right underneath the window. They're maybe 3 feet apart. Now you're thinking, well, they're gonna see one trap and avoid the other one. Absolutely correct. Except they see the trap that's in front of the window, not underneath the window. So the guy gets on the windowsill and I'm thinking, oh, this dude is about to look straight down and see the secondary trap. He doesn't. He sees that trap and he's like, okay, well, I can't really just step in into the window, so I'm gonna get up on the windowsill and step down. He steps down right onto the nail, fucks his whole day up. So this was a really, really cool execution of these different traps, and it showed us what she was capable of. And very early on in the film, she kills one of the invaders, because this is essentially a home invasion film. She kills one of the invaders with like a meat tenderizer and beats the back of his head in. And it's intense as hell. And at that moment, I was sitting there like, there's got to be an explanation for that. So in other words, this movie is really, really good. It's a typical story when you think about it. How many high-profile cases have we seen where children killed their parents for money, or children killed their siblings to inherit some money, or a grandparent or something like that? People kill for money all the time. This is just one of those cases that have entirely the wrong person involved with it, because the idea was that Crispin ran off, fuckboy and his girlfriend were meant to survive. Aaron was meant to survive as a witness, and they were supposed to, that's how they were gonna run with the story. But because Aaron flipped the switch and started fucking everybody up, and threw a wrench into the plans. So that was a really interesting twist that you're gonna have, because that's why the neighbors got killed. And that's how we found out that those are the neighbors, because Aaron got sent over there to borrow some milk. Who the fuck borrows milk from neighbors? But whatever. And they never answered the door, but music was playing because they played music when they got killed. They were playing music when they got killed. And so Crispin was explaining it. You were gonna be the one witness that wasn't involved at all, that can attest to these people invading the house, killing the neighbors so nobody would notice, and then coming over and causing all this shit. But you had to do what you did. Yeah, and there was even a really cool setup where Aaron tied an axe. One of the intruders had an axe. Aaron took it, took a brick, used some string, tied it up to set up a trap at the door. So whoever walked through the door was going to get hit by that fucking axe. Now, people started coming in through the window, and I was like, fuck, are they really going to set this up and not have it pay off? But they did, because right after Aaron kills her boyfriend, she gets shot by a police officer, because they have been trying to call the police. They even make a point of it. Aaron texts 911 because apparently it sends as like an automated message sometimes, and then later on she gets a text saying that it was received. So the police are on their way, and you kind of forget about that. Then she gets shot in like the shoulder. The police officer is like, calling for backup, like, hey, I need backup and a medic. And then he goes around the front. Now, Aaron isn't dead. She got shot in the shoulder, but after all she's been through, hell, she jumped through a window earlier in the film, getting a big piece of glass in her thigh. She's been beat up basically the entire film. She's a little tired. So while crawling to the front door, the police officer walks in through the front door. She tries to stop him, but then we just see the axe come down, and then you get the title card of the movie. I wish we could have seen it, but I'm happy that it actually did get paid off after a really, really interesting setup, because it's like, ooh, that's gonna fuck somebody's day up. Yeah, that's my super late review for You're Next. But this was a really interesting film, and I think it deserves a watch, and it probably doesn't get talked about enough. I wasn't sure what the rumblings were when it actually premiered in 2013, because again, I only started hearing about this film within the last year. But this film needs to get talked about more, solely based on Aaron's character and what she's capable of, and the childhood that she had that prepared her for this type of crazy ass situation. So yeah, check out the movie. Again, check out some of the videos. I think I'm hitting a pretty consistent stride with the super late reviews. And as always, thank you so much for whoever watches the video, whether it's 1, 5, or 200. Catch up with you guys later.